Hey, Stux here. Make sure to check out my coaching on sandbox.gg to earn exclusive perks and get your Overwatch game to the next level. Alright, this one will be very controversial, but I'm going to be honest here. I will say what no other YouTuber says. I will say the exact opposite of what the guides you read online tell you. I'm going to tell you that team chat, match chat and voice chat are a major point why you may not be climbing as fast as you would like. One of the biggest fallacies amongst players is that communication wins games. Before I go further into this, I should very clearly mention that what I'm talking about is only relevant in a solo queue environment. If you play for a team or stack with friends, then communicating with them can be very valuable. If you're solo queuing, however, not so much. So what do I mean by communication doesn't win games? Well, exactly that. You haven't ever and won't ever win a single competitive game because of communication. No matter how much you believe in it, that simply isn't the case. So many people complain about how they are losing matches because that one teammate isn't joining voice comms. How they are the only one talking, always saying hello at the start of the match, trying to spark up some conversation. Waste of time, nothing more. Why? Let me elaborate. With voice comms there are three filters. Let's just imagine you, a bang on average mid-platinum player, queuing up for his first comp game of the day. You hop in, and because you want to win, you enable voice chat. You greet everyone and think that this game is going to be great. First filter, participating in voice chat. Yes, this should be no surprise to you. The majority of players won't even join voice chat to begin with. Depending on your rating, you could be the only one in voice chat, but let's just be optimistic, thinking that 3 of your teammates actually joined voice comms. Second filter, caring. The thing is, you probably don't really trust what your teammates say, right? I mean, depending on your rating, they aren't really qualified to give advice anyways. Well, that's what your teammates think about you. So sure, maybe there are 3 people in voice chat, but how many of those actually listen to you? Keep in mind that the lower you go in rating, the less second nature fundamental game mechanics become. Sure, if you're in Diamond, moving around and aiming at stuff may not be something you have to think about a lot, but especially in Plat and below, it is hard to focus on your own gameplay while having a talk with someone else. If anything, you're just distracting them by communicating with them, and they're distracting you as well. So that leaves us with this one dude. You probably play something like Lucio and is the only one that actually has some time to think about what you're saying. But here's the issue, and this is the third filter. Comprehending. Sure, he may be in voice chat, sure, he may be listening to you. But does he know what to do with your info? If you call out that Reaper is flanking, does he know what to do? I'm sorry to break this to you guys, but he doesn't. If he would, he wouldn't be at an average rating. Or how about his Zenyatta calling out his Discord? I have looked at close to 1,000 VODs now, and not a single player ever swapped from their current target to the Discord target. Knowing information is worthless if you don't know what to do with it. But Stux, every game I win has people who communicate in it. So clearly communication is super important, especially in a team game like Overwatch. Wrong. You're mistaking correlation with causation. You aren't winning your games because of communication. You will never win a game solely because of communication. You will win games because you and your team played better. Period. A team of 6 DPS characters that all left voice chat will beat a 2-2-2 team that is communicating all game every single time if they have better aim, movement, or positioning. Period. Those 3 things, the fundamentals of first-person shooters, win you games. And this is where it gets interesting. The players that have mastered their aim, movement and positioning are a lot more likely to have the mental freedom to communicate. While bad players are too busy with their own gameplay, these players can hold a chill conversation on the side. The fundamentals of the game are second nature to them. It's not that communication makes a good player, it's that good players are more likely to communicate. They could mute themselves and you would still win your games with them. So now that I've established why voice comms are kind of pointless and also why you seem to win more games when people are communicating, let's stop talking about why voice comms aren't good. Let's talk about why they are bad. Since we know that there isn't anything useful coming from your teammates anyways, and even if there were, you probably couldn't use it. Hey, I can't think that fast either, and most of it enters on one side and leaves on the other. Let's think about what remains. The bad stuff. Not even thinking about the fact that you play worse with voice comms because they can be distracting, voice comms can also be incredibly vile. The enemy team writing a GG easy at the end, your teammates sighing after you whiff your ultimate, someone telling you to switch, people shouting at each other for whatever reason. Those are the things that you will hear in voice comms and text chat. Now, I know what you think. I have a will of iron. These things don't matter to me. I don't tilt because of these petty things. You do. If you aren't, you're a psychopath with no emotion. It affects you, even if it's so slight that you can't grasp it. You will play worse because of it. Maybe not all the time, but why take the risk? Voice comms aren't helping you win, so why leave them on if there is even the slightest chance you might lose a game because someone gets on your nerves? You don't want emotions to impact your performance. That's why people going to the military aren't bringing their girlfriends with them. Emotional attachment can be volatile and detrimental to your performance. Let me give you an anecdote. In Season 4, people started recognizing my name in competitive. I figured that I would get a second account so that I could play under a different name and use my main account for work. A friend of mine stopped playing. He was a gold player, managed to actually jump into diamond after he let some friends on it, but then dropped back to platinum in Season 3. He didn't want it anymore, so he gave the account to me. When I played my first Season 4 placement match, I was immediately muting voice chat, text chat, match chat. I could have played with bots and not noticed it. Everything was silent. I could completely focus on what mattered, footsteps and old callouts. None of my team was flaming, no one was trolling, just people playing whatever they wanted, and I played my game. I got to GM relatively fast, without ever reading a single text message or hearing someone else's voice. Sure, I had some people pick Hanzo or Torb, but I wasn't mad at them. I was just thinking to myself, good thing that I am past that, and I carried on playing. I lost some games, but I won the majority of them. I'm not saying that I got to GM because I disabled voice comms. I'm saying that disabling voice comms didn't hinder me. It made it a lot easier in my opinion. And it's the same thing with you. Disabling voice comms won't magically make you climb, but it's going to make the game a lot more enjoyable. There are a bunch of idiots out there, I know that. And this way you won't have to deal with them. I'm telling you that you won't miss out on anything. You won't lose any matches because you aren't in voice chat. But you sure as heck will win a few because you won't get tilted and you won't stop playing early because of it. Toxic teammates will tilt you. Nice ones will distract you. I know that this is all very controversial, but I urge you to try it. If you don't like it, that's completely fine. Nothing wrong with being social and wanting to talk to people while you play. But maybe you'll discover that you can have a lot more fun with the game if you start laughing at the mistakes of your teammates while not having to deal with their toxicity. My name is Austux, and I'd like to thank you for learning.